Back at it again with another episode review of Cross. This time we've got episodes 6 through 8. We're finally here at the finale.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean it's been a what was that?
Sorry, I sneezed.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, it's been a crazy season. We've definitely gone through some ups and some downs. And quite honestly, I feel like I can say the same for the ending.
Yeah. There was I don't know, man. There were a few times here in the last couple episodes that I felt like they took the extra time to, let's call it, accentuate parts of the story that for the most part have felt ancillary. Like they were secondary in nature. Like we weren't focusing them in the plot too heavy. They kind of took their time to address those things, and I don't know if they necessarily needed to. I felt like there was a lot of episode after we, kind of finished the Ramsey arc that we could have explored something a little bit more. And in terms of tying off things for season 2 or planting seeds for season 2. I don't know. We'll get there, but in all, this was a very solid season. I liked how they introduced it, like how they brought everything kind of full circle, kind of start peeping shit as things moved along here in the last 3 episodes. It was very well done.
I liked the season, and I would definitely watch a season 2. I feel like the ending for season 1 was maybe at times a little rushed, just to kind of get to some of the endings that they wanted to address. Some things that they possibly could have even punted into a season 2, if you will.
Yeah, definitely.
But, all in all, like I said, it's still a worthy story. And again, I think it was still, deserving of a season 2 for sure. Okay. So going into episode 6, some of the things that I was either really liked or, didn't really care for. I remember at one point the I don't know what her role is, the one in the wheelchair.
She's like she's an attorney. She's maybe a DA.
Okay.
Or she was a prosecutor. She was the prosecutor on Alex's case for for the sister.
I thought it was very interesting that she came to come see House in episode 6 and decided to talk to his.
Yeah, another one of these instances where this just wouldn't happen. Like I don't.
I'm like, you're aware that you can't talk.
I'd be like,
her.
you need to talk to Alex.
Yeah.
Maybe I even put in a call to that effect and tell him, hey, you need to tell your mom what's going or your grandma what's going on. But I'm definitely not about to just tell you everything about the investigation, give you somebody's name. Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff that you have to suspend your disbelief. But if that's the degree that I have to do to get this show, then I'll accept it, I guess.
Well, I feel like I was ready and willing to suspend my disbelief, and then she acted on what she found out.
I think maybe they could have found a way for her to find out the information without directly just prying it out of her, just playing on her emotions. Hey, this is affecting me too. Maybe you should tell me. Yeah, that's every criminal's family that she knows. That's every victim's family that she knows. It doesn't mean that she could divulge the information, but
I just feel like showing up for her is a pretty unsafe thing for her to do,
considering
all the other stuff going on right now.
And then how she, like you said, when acted on the information made it even worse.
I thought that the trip to Philly was obviously really good for Cross and his son. Maybe his daughter should have went as well, because it's not like she's not experiencing.
They did just kind of push her to the background. They kind of gave her the Judy treatment this season.
A little bit.
So I hope, in season 2, that's something that they probably will start out with, is how they had to spend all of this time with Alex and Damon going through their things. How, they're probably going to have to check in on, is her name Jenny?
The daughter?
Yeah, Janie.
Something like that.
Janie. That's crazy. We don't even remember her name. Right. That's how far in the background she was this season.
But I do feel like that trip to Philly allowed us a little bit more into the healing for Cross, and then the son saying it feels like you lost mommy, but I lost both of you.
Yeah, that was a gut punch. That
was pretty impactful. So I definitely did like that, and I just feel like I said, it kind of allowed us to get Cross to a point where he's a little bit more understanding of the grief that he's experiencing. And then I was completely confused, and this kind of speaks to the rushing of how we, kind of quickly get through this ending. I was completely confused about the lieutenant shooting homeboy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I got it right away, but I was pissed off. I was like, God damn it. Like, what did you do?
Yeah.
What did you do? What does he have on you? And then just to figure out that it was favors. Like, what? Yeah. Like, oh, well, it started out small and then ended with you killing a witness? Like, how did you think this was going to play out? Then for her to double back and ask Samson to be her baby's godfather. Like, oh, you's a dirty little... Ooh, you nasty.
That was crazy.
How you going to ask me to do that knowing where you going?
Yeah.
I don't even know how she planned to get out of that. Like, so there was a level of... with Ramsey, right? And when he's working his way through his list of people who was helping him keep this going, where I'm like, these people have to legitimately be invested in what he's doing the way he is, right? That's why it made sense for the plastic surgeon to have been so gung-ho to do it, like she was into it.
Yeah.
You have to be taking the type of risk you taking, because at a certain point, what he has over you or what he's able to provide you, whatever one it is, does not outweigh the jeopardy you're putting yourself in by doing what he's asking you to do, especially when he's spiraling himself and he's not making sound decisions. He's desperate, right? He's trying to cut bait and cut it and sever himself from the situation. So you be damned. He can expend you.
Also, I feel like she probably wouldn't have been so... Well, I'll talk about it this way. In the beginning episodes, it felt like it was... the captain or whatever her role is that seemed intrinsically motivated to keep Cross at bay on this case. Yeah. And so for her to seem sort of apathetic to the whole thing, like for her to seem like, it kind of just is what it is, kind of made it seem like, well, how did it end up being her that was the one that was behind all this?
Yeah, like, I mean, I felt like they hit her well. They hit her pretty well.
They did hide her well.
The same way they do another character in the back half here of the season. Sure. But they hit her well. We had all of our attention on the captain or the what is she? The sergeant? The chief?
Sergeant, captain, chief,
whatever. Yeah, the bigger lady. The silver hair lady. Mm-hmm. We had our eyes on her. And for good reason. She's a political animal, so you gotta watch her motivations. But she hid in plain sight very well until the last moment, until she was no longer required to hide, or Ramsey didn't want her to hide anymore.
Yeah. Before I get into the next episode, I thought it was hilarious how many times Cross just abruptly got up from a conversation because he had a brain blast. Like it just seemed like throughout the last episodes he was just randomly completely leaving conversations because he would just randomly get this brain blast.
That's his thing, man. He got it. It's a superpower. Let him have a superpower.
Oh, he's allowed to have it. I just thought it was funny. Like I don't even think I can count on one hand.
He do be like in the middle of like dire situations, but wait, I did the thing. I had to put the number one on the two. Yesterday, if we subtract that, it ends up being the 17th of January, and that means Tulsa, Oklahoma. I got it.
And he just gets up and leaves.
Your mother never loved you. She was only there. She was only appeasing you. You always felt that hate, didn't you? And that's why you killed your sister. Yeah, I'm figuring it all out. And they'd be like, son of a bitch, where did he come from?
Right. I don't know. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of already talked about it, but I thought the scene between John and the lieutenant, who was playing both sides, once he found out like who was obviously playing him this entire time, I thought that was really good. Mm. The Old Spice guy, Isaiah Mustafa, I thought he closed this series very well with some really good scenes of acting.
Biggest surprise of the series has been his performance and how he's carried.
Yeah.
Biggest surprise of the series. You expect a certain performance from Aldis HODGE because of the amount of work that you've seen him in and the positions he's been in, the productions he's been involved in. So you expect a certain level of performance from him. But how he's been kind of balanced off of with, what's his name, Mustafa?
Isaiah Mustafa.
Has been probably the biggest surprise of the series and to the I guess the biggest advantage to have a co-star that balances that well. They really have a Sherlock Holmes Basil thing going on in the blackest way possible.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it really plays well. Their dynamic carries the show. The loss of that dynamic is a spinning side narrative that you don't have to do anything with. Just the fact that they're not talking is a going plot point for every other character in the show. Mm-hmm. Every single one.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you know anything about John, if you know anything about Alex, they are one moving body. And when you see one, you usually see the other. Mm-hmm. And so when they're not talking, it's news for everybody. That kind of dynamic between characters is powerful, and it really plays well in the show.
For sure. Okay, so I felt like losing out on killing Eileen twice, and then what I thought was him killing himself, but then him ending up in the hospital.
I'm like,
just to lose out again.
He was doing his Michael Myers thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, he's not waking up out of the damn body bag. Like, come on.
Yeah, ultimately, I wanted to feel like that was anticlimactic, but then I saw how it resulted when...
Oh, I was pissed when it looked like he OD'd. I was like, man, you should have just shot him. I just shot him in the hand.
Yeah.
I just shot him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd rather him sit there and bleed and we try to rush him to the hospital than him try to off himself.
Yeah. But I do feel like they kind of paid that off with the interrogation scene between Cross, basically denying him the legacy he thought he was going to have.
So, again, plot point, and I think this gets tied up, depending on who's asking in the whole Freddie Trey. Bobby Trey. And the whole Bobby Trey scene that happens in the after scene, mm-hmm. right? Depends on who's asking those questions.
Yeah. But
it feels as though to stick it to Ramsey, they sacrificed the justice for all the families of the serial killing victims.
I thought about that too.
And I'm like, okay, so we never get to put a name on those murders. They never get an answer as to who killed their people. There's no justice. He doesn't get those charges. He goes down for one murder, and maybe he goes away for life. Mm-hmm. And he never has to claim any of these other ones because y'all want to stick it to him for like a psychological burn.
And literally destroy evidence
in cases. Yeah, y'all about to say destroy evidence in the case. So y'all go ahead and explain that to all the families of the victims and make that make sense to them. Like, I want to see that. Yeah. I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't seem like justice to me. Just to stick it to him. Like, now, do you have to post this manifesto? Do you have to really say anything other than the facts? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like definitely a FU to Ramsey. And it seems to hurt him. But then it is also a middle finger into the face of the families.
Can you just not tell people publicly?
I guess, yeah, you can go back and tell them.
Yeah, it's probably still not going to end up in history books, though.
Can you charge him under a sealed indictment because of what he's trying to do? Because he's trying to be popular. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's some legal mumbo jumbo you can do to actually get the charges on him.
Yeah,
and not have it all over the news.
Mm-hmm. And in episode 7, I found that the black guy being Cross's stalker didn't seem sufficient to me. But I found out why that didn't seem so sufficient in episode 8. They did obviously pay that off with the son's piano teacher essentially assisting with all of it.
Dog, it was a certain point where I was asking myself why she kept being around in these crucial moments when Nana Mama was, having her, her feelings about how Alex was handling Damon and handling the kids, and after his wife's death, she was there talking to her, and then she was there at the hospital, and then she was there, as they discussing how to move things forward and how to deal with the kids. And it's just like she's just always around. Like, why are you around so much?
And I was thinking,
Damon ain't playing this piano right now. Why are you here?
And I was thinking, like, how is Cross missing this obvious weirdness of her offering her house?
Like, hey, I ain't in y'all business, but if you need somewhere to disappear, I got a lake house that you can come with me to. I've been
thank you.
I've been like, okay, give me the keys and we'll go there by ourselves. We ain't going with you.
Yeah, I thought that was a little crazy.
Yeah, she again was for most of the series, she was hiding in plain sight, and it didn't really get weird to me until the probably the conversation they were having when they was drinking. First of all, I thought she was gonna try to sleep with her. then when that didn't happen, I was like, okay, well then why is she around so much? And then it really got weird at the hospital when she offered the cabin, like you said. So to bring that all full circle, I did feel like there was a gap in between homeboy, the brother, and whatever immediate jeopardy they were going to be in. Because I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess you send him away as a precaution, but he's just one man, obviously, and he's crazed over what happened to his sister. But it didn't hit me until she offered to give him the lake cabin, that I was thinking like, oh damn, he don't even see it. Like, it's probably her. She's probably his mom.
Yeah.
And when he went to the social worker, it was, his street mom comes in, tries to help him, but yada. He was like, I'm gonna give you a picture. I was like, dog, you don't even need the confirmation. I know who it is now. It's old big eyes over there. Yep, it's her.
Yep,
it's her for sure.
Yeah.
Dastardly character, because the personality flip was very, very clean. I was like, oh,
I thought it was pretty clean too.
Who the hell are you? Right. She flipped so quick. Wasn't in love with the motivations. It was like, all right, well, clearly you had something to do with his wife's killing. You would think that that's enough. But it wasn't, right? And so then if the idea was you have to hurt like I'm hurt, you have to lose a kid, you would think that that's probably where it would have started. Yeah. It was weird that you needed to kill his wife to know that wasn't enough, knowing what you lost initially. You didn't lose a life partner. You didn't lose a significant other. You lost a kid. So you would have thought if that's where she eventually ended up, that's where she probably would have started.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
And then also, we don't get a clean explanation. Did you hire somebody to do it? Did you pull the trigger yourself? How do you know those last words? If you notice, she says what his wife's last words are, and then she says, or that's what I'm told. Well, then who did it? Was it homeboy? Was it dude? Because if he had a problem with shooting her, or if he didn't have a problem with shooting her, I have a hard time thinking that like he was upset with the fact that she wanted him to kill the kids, because he was like, oh, well, they didn't do nothing. Well, his wife didn't do nothing either. Yeah. So that makes me think that he didn't pull the trigger on his wife. Who did they get to kill his wife? That's still something that I think it has to get addressed. I don't think he's going to let that go. Like, who was the actual gunman? Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Again, didn't even think of that. I was too busy watching her engulf herself in flames. In flames, yeah. I'll pay it back in hell.
I was like, Jesus. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
No, she went out like a G, I guess.
Yeah. You ever watch something and then sit there and try to realize where you know an actor from, and then kind of get disappointed when you realize where it's from?
What happened? Who was it?
The son of that lady, I know from Blue Mountain State. Oh, and I was just like, ugh. Okay.
Anyways.
Just a thought that ran through my mind when I found it out. So at the end, they interview, they do like some, I guess the reporter has them do an interview together because they were filming it. And he interviews the person that he, obviously violently beat in search for his wife's killer.
It was the most unnecessary part of all of this.
Yeah, I agree. It was absolutely unnecessary, and I don't know why they needed to film it. I think that could have just been a conversation between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But I thought it was interesting how they keep tying Cross being a black officer in the landscape of this Black Lives Matter environment that they ultimately live in. They live in DC, which is
Here's my problem with it. You highlighting it at this point kind of signals to me that you plan to put it in a box now. Like it's going to boil down to the situation with him, with this dude in this video, and then it's never going to be Grace again. No. Cross being as good as he is, being as talented as he is, having a God-given gift, and having to operate within the confines of a white supremacist organization like the police department, that is going to be there permanently. It's never going to go away.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're trying to boil it down to, oh well, you assaulted a black man and he wasn't the suspect you were looking for, like this generic situation that you're making him now have to get read the riot act from this individual, yelled at from the girl. First of all, I'm looking for my wife's killer. Did y'all hear that? Do y'all care about that at all? I understand that, like, you were accosted and you weren't the suspect and then I pulled you over and all of that shit is terrible, right? But, like, this wasn't a normal situation. Like, somebody took your badge and went and killed my wife with it.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm gonna at least, you know, I don't know what you would do. I don't know how you would have handled it. Obviously, it was wrong. But can we meet in the middle here?
Sure.
Can we meet in the middle here? Like, God, y'all got me over here working I'm working double time for the cop now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the way that was handled.
But then also, that's not, a conversation with him is not justice for him.
No, it's not. Even the embarrassment of them being able to yell at him on camera is not justice.
Right. It's kind of a backtracking the other way. So
yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't love it. Yeah. I did like Malika walking in there and basically apologizing in her own way. I guess. You know, that was cool.
Yeah,
that was all right.
Okay.
But, yeah.
And then the only other thing I feel like we got to talk about is the end scene with Bobby Trey.
Yeah. So that was my question in the beginning. Who's asking these questions? Who's interested in all of the the victim's family information? Is that the police that's interested? Is that the state? Because it seemed like she might be hinting that she's working for some sort of government entity, which it was always interesting to me where she was getting this information. She didn't seem to be police, but she seemed to be very plugged in. She was able to get information very quickly. So is she a government spook? Is she CIA? Is she NSA? Is she, how deep is this Alex Cross story going to go?
Right. So
very interesting.
We'll definitely have to wait and see for season 2.
But that boy Bobby Trey going away for 18 months. Somebody must go feed Mojo.
24 months.
24 months. Somebody please feed Mojo.
Yeah, I have no doubt that we'll probably see him in season 2 as well. So
for sure,
I'm here for that. But yeah, ultimately, I did like the season. I just felt like at some point it could have ended a little bit better, but ultimately still a good season. I'm ready for season 2 whenever it comes out.
Cool. Let us know what you guys thought about the back half of Cross there, episodes 6, 7, and 8. Give us your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'll have some more TV shows coming up here for you. More Day of the Jackal coming up, and I think Power will be circling back around here.
Yeah, so we got a few
soon. Yep. So check us out, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you check out some of our other reviews for Cross. We did, obviously, the whole season. So if you haven't, make sure you catch up on those. And like you said, make sure you subscribe. We'll be talking about some more TV shows in the future. Peace.